Hello, I'm Lucy. Yes, it sounds strange, I know. Hearing a cat speak is not something you come across every day. But here I am. I'm here to tell you my story, my life of solitude. Perhaps by the time you're hearing this, I may no longer be alive. But if any story deserves to be told, it's mine. I'm 5 years old. I live in a quiet forest-surrounded town in California called Willow Creek. At first glance, it looks like a peaceful place, but it's never truly safe for a cat. Before I tell you about my life and family, I want you to get to know me a bit. I am the eldest of 7 siblings. When my mother gave birth to us, she wrapped us in her warm paws, trying to protect us from all dangers. My father was strong. He roamed around, always watching over his family. But everything changed in a single night. That night, what happened to my mom and dad transformed my life forever. I still remember the sound of that wild dog's footsteps creeping up in the darkness of night. When he attacked, my mother and father were screaming. Their cries between his teeth still echo in my ears. From that moment on, my life became a story of survival. All that remained of my family were my fears. And it wasn't just me, my siblings scattered. Each one drifted somewhere. Maybe they're not even alive anymore. That night I learned that everything in this world could be so temporary, so cruel. Life in the forest was so different from my mother's safe embrace. I had to stay on high alert every moment because there were predators everywhere. The first real threat I faced was a giant wild boar. That night, under the moonlight, as I moved along the dirt path, I saw a huge shadow in the bushes. It was massive and imposing. I tried to hide, but I felt its eyes on me. Every step it took shook the ground, as if the entire town trembled with its footsteps. I held my breath, waiting. It was just about to approach me when it turned and went another way. For the first time in my life, I felt this much fear. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would burst. I barely survived that night, but I hadn't yet realized the real dangers waiting for me. Once deep in the forest, I felt a lion's gaze fixed on me, those golden eyes fierce yet so calm. It was stalking me. My whole body was trembling with fear, and every step I took made the bushes rustle louder, convincing me that it would pounce at any moment. I quickly climbed a tree, my claws dug deep into the bark, my heart racing. I felt like those eyes would never leave me. I stayed up in that tree for hours, waiting for daylight and the danger to pass. At that moment, I realized I needed to stay on guard here at all times. Otherwise, my existence would be cut short. One night, a pitch-black night with no stars, I noticed the shadow of an eagle overhead. Its wings covered the sky. It wouldn't let me escape. Running was pointless. I crouched at the base of a tree and waited. The sound of leaves crushed under its talons sent chills down my spine. The eagle's eyes, focused on its prey, were like bullets darting down from the sky. After that night, I began searching for ways to hide from eagles. Each time, I would either hide behind another branch or bury myself beneath leaves, holding my breath. But every time, surviving became more and more difficult. And people, oh people, it's hard to understand their attitude toward me. At first, I found a shelter in an abandoned house. I hid there for days, but soon new owners moved in. When they arrived, they saw me. The lady of the house did everything to chase me away. I tried to hide in the garden for a while, but each time, they chased me off. They yelled, ran after me. I clung to the door with my claws, not wanting to leave. I spent cold nights outside, surviving on scraps. People always looked at me with harsh eyes, yelling and scolding. I felt worthless, rejected, as if I was unwanted. Now I'm telling you this story, but I don't know if I'll still be here tomorrow. My days feel like they're running out. Every moment I face a new danger. Another predator might hunt me down, or people might throw stones at me. Maybe by the time you hear this story, I'll have already given up. Either they've eaten me, or strangled me, or completely cast me aside. It feels like there's no place for me in this world, no one who accepts me. Maybe you'll listen to me. Maybe you'll hear my silent cry. This story may be the only trace I leave behind.